Yeah, I'll react to that, sure. Gentlemen and ladies, regardless of what is in between your legs, I don't care. Just get ready to learn. I have never been put into a false sense of what. Come on, words are tough today. I was so certain that I just assumed that the 13th episode in this that I started a while ago, I finished all 13 episodes. They just came out with the 14th. I assumed that it would cover the whole spiel with Roman and Hannibal, and I knew that Hannibal lost in the end. And I wasn't exactly sure where or when, but it was the last episode, so I'm like, okay. I went into it thinking, all right, how is Hannibal going to lose this battle? And in the end, he won. That was crazy. But this is the next episode. So now I know when he loses. He loses in Northern Africa in Zana? Scipio? No, who? Scipio, right? Anyways, let's keep going. Let's keep going on the journey. If you're not ready to learn, just get out. Let's go. Oh, wait. There's going to be a quick pause, stop, pause, play. See? We're back. Okay. Let's do it. Battle of Silva, Litana, 216 BC, Hannibal, Part 14, Second Punic War. You know the drill. If you're not ready to learn, you have failed to learn your schedule. Once again, it is B period, and you should be in home ec down the hall. Make me some escargot. Snails. I learned how to... Okay, let's go. Let's go. Original link to the video, top of the description. Other links, click them. Join the Discord. Join my second channel. Let's go. Okay, this is serious.
On August 2nd, 216 BC, Hannibal won...
Sorry, I've forgotten how intense this channel is. Okay, I'm excited. Okay. Let's go.
His greatest victory near the town of Cannae in southern Italy.
It was impressive.
By day's end, his outnumbered mercenaries had destroyed the majority of the largest army Rome had ever put to field, marking this as one of the bloodiest military encounters ever fought. For the Romans, Cannae became the benchmark by which subsequent defeats were measured. It would not be surpassed for another 600 years.
Jesus Christ.
The dazed survivors of the Roman army dispersed. Varro resurfaced in Venusia in charge of as little as 70 horsemen who escaped the pursuing Numidians. In Canusium, a certain 19-year-old tribune by the name of Publius Scipio, together with 3 other tribunes, gathered a larger group of some 3,000 men. Despite barely escaping the carnage, the young tribune was notable for inspiring the troops, going as far as threatening to kill those who spoke about fleeing and forcing the men to take an oath never to betray Rome. In the days that followed, up to 10,000...
Pledge or I'll cut... Yeah, that Scipio kid is inspiring. Okay.
...betray Rome. In the days that followed, up to 10,000 survivors would converge on Canusium, and Varro would resume command. The question was, what would Hannibal do now?
Ooh, look at that map. Oh god, I missed this channel. Look at those maps. That map.
Play as the most powerful hero in the world and encounter millions of real players in the world's biggest and most badass mobile game, Raid Shadow Legends. Explore millions of champion combinations and master countless tactics as you take on raid bosses, dungeon runs, campaign battles, and PvP arena matches. My favorite champion is the Arbiter, arguably the best support character in the game, excellent for dungeons, clan bosses, and arena.
Gotta make sure if he has
Something
any
you can really
promo
sink your
codes.
teeth into is Raid's endgame, the Doom Tower. Millennia ago, the Arbiter trapped Siroth's monsters inside this magic tower, but it can no longer contain the evil inside.
It seems a lot like AFK Arena. I enjoyed that game. AFK Arena was pretty good.
Fortunately, Arbiter counts on you to go inside and crack a few heads. And that's not all. This month features non-stop special events and activities, including the jam-packed Halloween lineup, rewards, tournaments, fragment events, and much more. Raid is becoming bigger and better than ever, and there are some giant updates coming very soon, so there's never been a better time to get started. Get
Now
a
I'm
huge
ready.
head start in Raid by hitting the link in the description or scanning my QR code to receive an epic...
Oh, where's his link?
By hitting the link in the description or scanning
Guys, I
my...
always want to make sure. It's a privilege to react to these amazing videos. Special starter pack right here. His Patreon. Where's Right. So just make sure if you're getting anything, if you're doing Raid Shadow Legends, check out that promo code. The link in the description helps out History March. Let's go.
A QR code to receive an epic hero, Janoru, 200k silver, 1 XP boost, 1 energy refill, and 1 ancient shard to summon the champion as soon as you enter the game. Start your adventure in Raid Shadow Legends. A day after the battle,
Those
the
Dementors?
Carthaginians were still plundering the 2 enemy camps, taking 19,300 prisoners. Hannibal saw to the burial of his fallen troops and gave Paulus a proper burial. But the dead Roman soldiers were left to rot in the sun. While more than 50,000...
I remember a statement. I know those are vultures or whatnot, but a statement from the last video, part 13, where it was a quote, something like a field of flesh or something like that. It was descriptive.
Men lay dead or dying in the plain below. The Carthaginian leadership met at a villa in Cannae. Visibly exhausted, they were in disagreement. Hannibal and some of his officers wanted to rest the army and prepare for the campaign in southern Italy. Maharbal, a prominent cavalry commander, was among those who wanted to march on Rome without delay. Proclaiming, perhaps enthusiastically, that he would lead the Numidians to the capital in 5 days, he protested to Hannibal, "Truly the gods do not give everything to the same man. You know how to win a victory, Hannibal, but you do not know how to use one."
Silence.
Whether or not these words were truly spoken, the reality was that Rome was 400 kilometers away. Another long march after a grueling campaign had just ended would be disastrous. Furthermore, the Senate adopted emergency measures to raise 4 legions in the coming weeks. Criminals, slaves, and boys as young as 16 or 17 were conscripted. While insufficient for a pitched battle, these troops would be enough to man the walls of Rome. Praetor Marcus Claudius Marcellus, previously tasked with...
Just want to say, the recall troops, criminals and debtors pardoned. Wow, temples were stripped of war trophies to equip recruits. That's nuts. Human sacrifice, standard.
Praetor Marcus Claudius Marcellus, previously tasked with reinforcing Sicily, was now sent to bolster the confidence of allies in Campania and wait for the wreck of the army of Cannae to join him. If he were to march on Rome, Hannibal would be placing himself between 2 Roman armies.
I just want to say, if this happens to be your first time watching a video like this, you are really being spoiled by the map quality. I've never seen a channel with such great maps. It's to a certain quality where even when they zoom in, it still keeps its form. And for me, it's such a big deal because it helps me learn so much better, being able to see what's going on a map. You know what I mean?
It would need
So
to
you're
fend
in
off
for a
relief
treat.
forces that the Senate would muster over the coming months. To overcome the enemy's vast manpower, Hannibal had hoped for reinforcements from Iberia, but thus far the Scipio brothers had kept Hasdrubal at bay. Worse, Carthaginian Senate's planning and logistics left much to be desired. Troops in Spain and Italy were mostly paid by the Barcid family Silva. Very little financial support came from Carthage itself thus far. This disjointed system was detrimental to the war effort and in stark contrast to the better organized Roman Senate that strived to secure funding and logistical support for its army and navy in all theaters. So far, the only attempt to supply Hannibal was a fleet of 70 ships that roamed the waters of northern Italy in the aftermath of the Battle of Trasimene in 217. But lack of coordination prevented them from making contact, and many of these ships had since been captured near the port of Cosa. Confronted by these problems, Hannibal knew that despite his ability to outwit and surprise his opponents, his army would not endure the many corrosive years in the field with...
So not only does Rome have much more access to supplies that they're getting, but not only does Hannibal and Carthage have less, it's hard to find a way to deliver it.
Without reinforcements and logistical support. The decision not to march on Rome was sound. While the situation in southern Italy remained uncertain, another Roman army advanced north to punish the tribes of Cisalpine Gaul for siding with Hannibal. The expedition was launched just days after the main army went on its way to Cannae, as part of the Senate's plan to destroy all enemy. The expedition was launched just days after the main army went on its way to Cannae, as part of the Senate's plan to destroy all enemies in the Italian peninsula in one massive counterattack.
Okay. So I was confused. That's why I rewinded a bit, because why would they be prioritizing punishing the Cisalpine Gaul people when they need all the troops they can get, but this is happening at the same time that the other army is going to meet Cannae at Cannae. That battle hasn't happened yet, or maybe it has and he doesn't know it. So understood. They're having a bad
by
time.
Lucius Postumius Albinus, the Romans marched through the Silva Litana forest, some 120 kilometers northwest of Ariminum. Albinus was a Roman politician and a veteran general. By now a man in his late 50s, he spent the last 10 years in retirement, but was recalled into service during this time of crisis. He was given 2 legions and had recruited allied troops, mustering a 25,000-strong army. With reports of enemy presence further north, Albinus expected to confront the tribesmen in the Po Valley. But the main Boii force was much closer. They secured the perimeter along the enemy's line of march. The Gauls had cut into the trees in such a way that they would remain standing without assistance, but would topple over if given a slight shove. As the column advanced further along the woodland road, the tribesmen pushed the trees onto the enemy. The trees fell on each other and crashed onto the road from both sides, killing Roman soldiers and horses and destroying equipment. Most of Albinus's men died under the weight of the tree trunks and thick branches.
Yeah, even if you don't kill him with the trees, it's still you gotta like put yourself there. Just that's genius. Whoever came up with that idea, and also you're making it a hellscape in terms of trying to get stuff through in any organized fashion.
The boy waiting in the forest moved in on the panicked survivors. Roman resistance was fiercest in the vanguard, but elsewhere the encounter became a one-sided slaughter.
That was so smart.
Albinus fought to avoid capture, but was killed and decapitated. According to legend, his head was later taken to a Boii sacred temple, where the skin was scraped off and the bare skull was covered with gold. It was used as a cup for drinking by the tribe's high priest. A contingent of Roman veterans at the head of the column tried to escape across a river, but were captured by the Boii.
I need a second. I need a second to process that, all right? History March. You can't just toss the scraping flesh off a decapitated skull into a golden goblet without giving me a second to process this. Okay, I'm good. I've processed.
Who had already taken the bridge over it. Very few Roman prisoners were taken. The boy also took a vast amount of loot, with the Roman goods handily concentrated along the forest road. Of the 25,000 Romans, only 10 men survived the battle.
Out of how many?
The battle. 25,000 Romans, only 10 men survived the battle.
All right, so he was saying boy, so the boy kind of people over there. Okay. My God, look at this map. Just look at the map, please. I'm more of a visual learner, I'd say, than most people, and so maybe it's not as important for you. I'm not just... One, it helps me to learn, and two, it's just so impressive. So just take a second.
Reports of the annihilation in Silva, Litana came mere days after the catastrophe at Cannae. A panic hit the city of Rome. The Senate ordered aediles to patrol the streets, open shops, and disperse any sign of defeatism.
How do they have so many
However,
soldiers?
all offensive operations against the Gauls were suspended indefinitely. Varro was now sent to levy new troops for the defense of Picenum and Etruria, where he would remain in command of up to 2 legions and an equal number of allied troops for several years. Across the Mediterranean, in Iberia, the Romans fared better. Hasdrubal Barca managed to reorganize his forces after the defeat at the Ebro in 217.
Oh my God. That was so great.
And, after receiving a contingent of 4,000 infantry and 1,000 cavalry from Africa, he decided to...
Sorry, one of the funniest, if not the funniest, thing for me to have viewed in any of these history videos was that battle and the losing of the ships.
...was the distance against the Scipio brothers. But some of the officers that he punished and imprisoned for cowardice after the Ebro debacle had escaped back to their homes among the Tertessian people.
Going home.
They instigated a revolt and captured the city of Asqua, which held a large Carthaginian depot for grain and other supplies. Reluctantly, Hasdrubal had to move south and abandon plans to advance across the Ebro in 216. All reports suggested that the uprising had the potential for spreading beyond the Tartessi territory. This would destabilize Carthaginian rule in Iberia, damage Hasdrubal's supply lines, and endanger the safety of the rich copper and silver mines that were vital for the war effort.
Amber.
Hasdrubal met Calbo in battle and made short work of the rebel army, despite their large numbers. Around this time, he received news of the victory at Cannae and was ordered by the Carthaginian Senate to march his army to Italy as soon as he could. But he was now too far south, and his army needed rest. Most he could do is reach the Ebro River before the onset of winter, but it was too late to campaign against the Romans. For the older Scipios, This was a window of opportunity they would not miss.
It's crazy how much men the Romans have, because the boy met slaughter, which is crazy. And by the way, imagine during that, like, the tree thing, like someone accidentally, like, a tree fell preemptively and gave it away. But yeah, it's blowing my mind just how many people. So after Kane and the boy stuff, how Rome just seems to have a ton of people, and enough for the Scipio brothers to have in Iberia.
Previously, except for a brief expedition south of the Ebro, they largely stayed north of the river, weary of Hasdrubal's generalship and the vast resources he had at his disposal. But, taking advantage of the Carthaginian general's absence, the Scipios negotiated an alliance with some of the Celtiberian tribes. In addition, they enlisted many mercenaries from their ranks and began preparations to push south across the Ebro next spring. Back in southern Italy, a Macedonian delegation was heading towards the Italian coast. Upon hearing of Hannibal's victory at Cannae, Philip V of Macedon wanted to propose an alliance with the Carthaginian general. His ambassadors joined Hannibal at his camp. The negotiations would drag on until next summer. And the situation in Italy would change dramatically over the coming months.
Oh, I gotta wait for the next video to come out. Take your time. Amazing channel. You won't see better visuals, honestly, than on this channel. Amazing. Great. I wonder how many more episodes until the whole Zama thing. But I'm curious to see, although we know the ending, what happens in between. Alrighty. See you guys next time. Hope you're all doing well. If not, you'll be good soon. Don't worry. See ya.